Hello, I'm Sophie and welcome to SimplyElectronics TV. 4 years ago, Canon launched the last in line of its S-Series compact photographer's camera. Finally, the S-Series is back with this sleek and stylish looking S90. Some have said that the S90 is Canon's bid into the market for compacts packed with advanced features, like the Panasonic LX3. Although there is the Canon G10 and G11, it must be noted that in comparison to the LX3, the G-Series is much larger and heavier. Physically, the first thing people will notice about the S90 is the control ring at the front of the camera. A multitude of functions can be assigned to it. While shooting in AV mode, you can change the shutter speed by turning the ring at the front. By clicking on the ring function button at the top of the camera, other functions such as shutter speed, ISO, aperture, even manual focus and zooming in and out can be assigned to it. We are actually huge fans of this. Usually innovations for compact digital cameras are more marketing driven, and yes, this has got a little bit of a marketing wow factor, but it's actually a nice photographic touch and gives a retro feel, as well as being completely usable rather than just a gimmick. At the back of the camera there's another direct control ring, also customizable. With two control rings you can very quickly and easily change the settings on your camera without having to enter any menus. Currently I'm on aperture priority mode and the front control ring is set to default control. This means I can change the aperture by turning the front ring and exposure levels on the back ring, like so. If I change the settings on the front ring control to say zoom, the back ring would then be in charge of selecting the aperture. When you change the aperture, the available aperture range would also be highlighted for you on the screen. When you change the shooting mode to full manual and reset the ring functions back to default, you would find that the front ring is now in charge of aperture settings and the back ring changes shutter speed. As if having two customizable controls isn't enough, there is a programmable S button on the back too. While looking at the back, you can see that there's a full 3:4 aspect ratio 3-inch LCD screen. Images you take will fill the screen, not just the centre as they do on other cameras with the 16:9 LCDs. Spec-wise, Canon has combined the latest Digic 4 processor with the 10 megapixel sensor to create what Canon dubs as the dual anti-noise system. Of course, this would be useless without a good lens, and the S90 comes with a relatively fast f2 to 4.9 28 to 105mm stabilised lens. It might not be fast at the zoom end, but in comparison to the LX3, it has a much better zoom range. One gripe is the battery life being a little on the short side. According to Canon, the battery would last you a little over 200 shots. It might not last you for a 3-day camping trip, but will be fine for holidays where you have access to a charger every night. Also, there is no HD video mode, so if you want to use the camera to record videos, you'll have to settle for VGA quality. Although this is obviously a negative point, with many rivals offering HD video on their cameras, it does give the impression that Canon is trying to go back to photography with this model, shedding the gimmicks and normal marketing and opting for less megapixels and no high definition, and concentrating instead on performance and image quality. Definitely a big positive is the ISO performance, which we found great compared to its rivals. Before ISO 800, noise is very well controlled, mainly thanks to using a large CCD sensor with fewer pixels. After ISO 800 it gets quite noisy, and you may need some post-processing to get a clean end result. However, it's still ahead of the competition in this regard. The Canon S90 is primarily a point-and-shoot version of the G11, which we reviewed earlier, and there are probably quite a lot of people out there who are deciding which one to go for. With the same image processor and sensor, the image quality is basically the same, although the lens is quite different between the two. Quite interestingly, the S90 offers a larger aperture of f2 on the wide setting. This is quite an advantage for getting in more light, although the downside is the G11 offers a longer zoom, and based on our testing, the G11 lens was a little sharper, albeit only when really zooming in on pictures. The S90 lacks the hot shoe, the viewfinder and the swivel screen of its big brother, but gains a slightly larger 3-inch LCD with the same resolution. It does at least still have the ability to shoot in RAW and gives you control over aperture and shutter speed. Due to its small and compact design and charming character, it fits the bill perfectly for those who are looking for a lightweight alternative to the chunkier PowerShot G series, or for someone looking for a pocketable camera that packs more punch than your usual point and shoot. It gets a thumbs up from us and we expect it to be very popular. Check out our channel page for more product reviews. We'll be adding new videos regularly.